everybody, it's Jessica from ayearwithjulia.com, and tonight we're making poulet roti, which is roast chicken, and we're also going to be making some scalloped potatoes. So first, we've taken our chicken. Hello! And we've put about a tablespoon of butter, smeared it around the inside of the chicken, and we've also put some salt in there. So what we're about to do next is truss the chicken. And that means we're going to take a needle and thread and stitch it up so that it holds it all together and makes a really nice appearance when we take it out of the oven and put it on the table. So, we're having to be a little creative here on ayearwithjulia.com because we couldn't find a trussing needle. But luckily, we could use a mattress needle, which we also could not find. So, we're going to go with a sewing needle. We'll see if it works. Okay, we've got our butcher's twine. We're going to cut a length of that. And we're going to thread our needle, which is hard to do when you've got butter all over your hands. We'll be right back. Okay, we've got our needle threaded and we're going to start the trussing. Now, there are two ties we have to do. First will be one to hold all the bottom section together, and then a second one to hold all the top section together. So we'll start with the bottom. We're told to thrust our needle through the bottom part of the body. So far so good, but a little slippery. Then we come around to hold the drumstick in place, and we're going to run it through the bottom of the breastbone. Great. Now, we'll just run it around here, and we're going to tie these two pieces together to keep the legs nice and tight. So I'll tie these off, and then we'll do the second tie. Okay, so we finished our first tie. You can see here we've tied off the legs to a nice pretty bow for our little chicken girl. Next thing we did is to start the second tie. We have strung our butcher string through the middle of the bird. Then what we'll do is we'll flip her over. And we have to tie up the wings. And so what we want to do here is we're going to do what's called putting the wings akimbo. And we're just going to fold them up and over themselves, as opposed to winging it back like this to be close. We want them to be up and over, like this. That'll help it stand up better. Okay? So we'll take our needle, run it up through the wing. This, of course, would be much easier with an actual trussing needle because it would be longer and easier to get a hold of. And again, if your fingers are slippery, just use a paper towel and pull it on through. Next step would be to pull up some of this neck skin, but there just really isn't very much of it on this chicken, so we're just going to kind of bypass that part. And we'll just come on over. Oops, I'm tangled up. Here we go. And we'll just pull our needle right on out of here and tie that other wing in. Okay. There we go. Now akimbo, to make it a little more relative, is any time a position in where your hands are on your hips and your elbows are out. This is akimbo. So we don't want the bird with the wings back, we want the wings out like this. Okay. So we'll get rid of this extra string here on the end. There we go. Fix that up nice and tight. And we're just about ready to put her in the oven. Okay, we've trussed our chicken, as you know, and now we have taken about a tablespoon of butter, given her a nice little massage. Get that butter all over that skin. And next what we'll do is we're going to put it breast side up in our rack here, our roasting pan. There. And we're also going to add 1 sliced carrot and some sliced onion around the bird to sort of bring in some flavor, which I've already pre-cut over here. So we'll just sort of sprinkle this around the bird. And we've preheated our oven to 425 degrees. And we will put this in for about 15 minutes and let it get a little bit browned, and then we'll start basting it. Okay, our chicken is in the oven roasting, and every 10 minutes or so we're going to baste it with a mixture of oil and butter, and it'll cook for about an hour and 20 minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to work on our next side dish, which is gratin dauphinois, which is scalloped potatoes with milk, cheese, and a pinch of garlic. So what I've done so far is taken our pan, took a clove of garlic, cut it in half, smeared it inside the pan, and also smeared in some butter. Next we're going to add in the potatoes. About half the potatoes that we have prepared and sliced. We'll just put those in the bottom of the pan. And then on top of that we're going to put some salt and pepper and some Swiss cheese. Season that with pepper, season it with salt. We have about a half a cup of Swiss cheese that's been grated, so I'll use half of that and put on top. And also a little bit of butter on top of that. We'll repeat this a second step, and then we're going to add some boiling milk, and then we'll put it in the oven to bake for about 30 minutes. Time here. We have our chicken in the oven, and it's time to baste it one last time. So I'll open the oven here and you'll see it cooking inside. Looking and smelling wonderful. For the past hour and 20 minutes or so, we've been flipping the chicken every 10 minutes, or opening the oven every 10 minutes to baste the chicken. And about halfway through, we flipped it from one side to the other. And now in the final 15 minutes, it's been breast side up. We're just going to baste it one final time. We can use some of the drippings from the bottom of the pan. Great, and we will put it back in here for about 5 more minutes. And while that's going on, we'll set our timer here so we don't forget what's going on. Meanwhile, we've taken our potatoes out of the oven, and the last time you saw the potatoes, we had done 1 layer of potato with some cheese and seasonings and butter, then another layer of potatoes with more seasoning, then some more cheese, and then a little bit more butter. Then we added a little bit of boiled milk to the top of it and put the whole thing in the oven and let it bake for about 30 minutes until the milk evaporated and the top was nice and brown. So it looks great. We're going to set that aside, wait for the chicken to finish, and then we'll be ready to serve up our dinner. Our bird is now out of the oven, looking wonderful, nice and golden. You can tell that she's ready to come out when this leg bone is just starting to pop right out of that socket, so you know she's ready to go. We took the bird out of the pan here, drained some of the fat out, and now we have added some onion and some chicken broth, and we're brought it to a boil, and now we're just going to spoon some of this over the chicken. Looking good, some of that onion in there. A little bit more. And we will put the rest of this in a gravy boat and take it to the table. We have our scalloped potatoes here, which are looking great. And that, my friends, is how you make a roast chicken and scalloped potatoes. So thanks again for joining us on ayearwithjulia.com. This is Jessica saying bon appetit.